Get cool stuff for what you were going to do anyway. Drink beer. With Buy Beer, Get Gear from Labatt, you can just snap a photo of your receipt and upload it to the website to rack up points for exclusive merch. Get points for every purchase, whether you're grabbing a pint on draft, a case for a party, or a tall boy at the stadium. Any size, any product, anywhere you buy Labatt. Buy beer, get gear. Sign up now at rewards.labattusa.com.
Video.
Now, stand back for your own safety.
Steve, what's up?
Congrats on the win.
Thanks, Steve. Where Paulie at?
Here we go.
I'm checking out. I will respond to you, but I'm done for the week. I'm done.
Steve is my favorite part of the show. How's that?
I like that. Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Check for sound.
Pleasure to be on there talking with Paulie, man. He's a good dude.
I'm an idiot. I'll just shut up and let you talk. I was trying to help.
And shout out to Tupac.
3, 2, 1, and
This is Orange Nation.
Well, hello, Paulie and Steve.
With Stephen Fonte and Paulie Sibilia.
Check it out. Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to have you with us. Alongside Paulie Sibilia, I'm Stephen Fonte. We've made it to Friday here on Orange Nation. We've got 3 guests lined up for it today. At 12:30, we'll talk with Kevin Copp. He is Temple's play-by-play man. He'll fill us in on Aiden Tobiasen and the player that Syracuse is getting in that guard. We'll talk with Ray Manessa at 1 o'clock from the United Way. He'll tell us about a charity basketball event going on tonight over at Henniger High School. And then coming up at 1:30, Sal Maiorana from the Rochester Democrat to talk Bills. We'll talk some Yankees with Sal as well. Plus, we'll mix in your phone calls throughout at 315-437-7644. What's up, Paulie?
Not much. How you doing, Steve?
I'm good.
You struggle with a 3-page rundown there?
Well, yeah, I couldn't get the third page to flip.
How'd you sleep last night?
I actually did very well last night. I slept
Thank
well
God.
for the first time in
miserable.
forever.
You've been miserable for the past 2 days.
That NFL draft show, the first one anyway, is out of my hair. There's nothing I can do with it now. And, yeah, I slept well last night. We delivered it to all the affiliates yesterday. And so, yeah, I finally got a restful night of sleep. How about you?
I'm fine. Yeah, I'm great. I'm just sick of talking about basketball rosters. And Syracuse, they just close it out. I jinxed.
Hasn't even been 2 weeks, Paul.
I know. Just get it over with, though, dude. Basketball's over. The BC, I was saying yesterday, they haven't signed anyone. They dropped 4 players yesterday, so everybody's catching up.
Yeah.
The Padres just need to hear, or need to get a big guy, right? That seems to be
the Padres? You just said the Padres.
Sorry, I mean, the SU needs to get a big guy.
I don't know how a big guy would help the Padres, but
they need a bat. But no, yeah,
yes,
SU needs to land a big guy.
They do, and all eyes at the moment are on Owen Freeman, the big man who started his career at Iowa, was Big Ten Freshman of the Year a few years back. Spent 2 years at Iowa, transferred to Creighton, where, I said injury riddled the other day, and you were upset with how I phrased that, but he had a meniscus injury before the season started, then and needed surgery. Then he had a finger injury that he needed surgery, which ended his season. So.
I would have used riddled.
Okay, if there was 3, one more?
Like Dan Conley's career was injury riddled.
Okay. Injury plagued? Do you feel better about that?
He's had a couple of injuries.
Okay. Well, right. Just last year, though. I mean, he was healthy before that. Last year, he had
that's why it's not a
lot of injury. Wait, I said season. I said injury-riddled season. Didn't say career. Okay. Anyway, he dealt with some injuries last year. So, I mean, if you look at his stats, they're not all that eye-popping. But he's 6'11". He obviously had shown a lot of promise and potential at Iowa with the way his career started. And I feel like all eyes are on him at the moment as somebody who would be a good fit for Jerry McNamara in this program.
And it seems like they're going head-to-head with Auburn for him.
Yeah.
And Auburn is one of those schools that you look at and you're like, oh, it's Auburn. That's not a basketball school. Nothing to worry about. But they also have that SEC potential where, you know what? Maybe this is the year Auburn decides they want to overspend on their one of their front court players.
Yeah, and if you go by the reports, it sounds like Syracuse and Auburn were both in on this big man from Santa Clara, Bucky Oboye, who, again, reportedly has agreed to join the Tigers, and Auburn wants another big man on top of him. So it sounds like they've got the commitment from the big guy from Santa Clara. They're still after Freeman. Syracuse is after Freeman as well. And, we'll see how this plays out.
San Diego Q says Auburn just signed their second center. Yeah, well, he could play the 4.
He could. That's right.
So just don't sleep on the fact that an SEC school wants somebody. That's all I'm saying. Because if they've decided they want to get somebody and it comes down to money, they'll get them.
Correct. It seems like that's the case.
This has been driving me nuts right now.
What's that?
Q Sports, and everybody doesn't like him in our chat, but he says if you bring in the mid-majors, you become the mid-majors. College basketball is a different world now, guys. The freshmen have gone away. The freshmen go to the mid-majors basically now, and the mid-majors are just feeder schools for the Power Four right now, right? Is that how you look at it? It's the minor leagues, and the Power Four schools take the kids from the mid-majors.
That's what it seems like, and then you end up getting...
You have to get good ones, though.
Right, and then you end up getting players that are, juniors and seniors and 21, 22, 23-year-olds that have already played a bunch of college basketball, and they're ready to compete at that level and, compete at a high level. And you've seen many, many examples of guys who have transferred up from the mid-majors to a big-time program and have a lot of success. And, you just look at this past Final Four, there were a handful of guys that were on Final Four teams that were mid-majors that, transferred up and they were, having major impacts on their team. So it is certainly a trend. And Syracuse is taking part in that trend, and I don't look at this and say, well, this is this roster would be. I hate when people say this roster would be good for Siena or
it's not true
because we
don't know. It could be, but we don't know.
Right. They're putting together an ACC roster, and they still have several spots to fill, and right now the glaring opening is at the center position. Now, I know that some fans are looking at the 5-for-5 rule and saying, all right, if that passes, is there a chance that those guys would get eligibility? Meaning, is there a chance William Kyle could come back? We were talking about this yesterday off the air. I find it hard to believe that they would be able to turn this around in time for the next academic year for the guys who are, currently out of eligibility to turn around and play next year. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe they're going to make some compromises to get this thing off the ground and try to avoid some lawsuits. But it doesn't sound like it's a matter of if with the 5-for-5, just a matter of when. I would have a hard time seeing how they would logistically make this happen. It's mid-April already, Paulie, and, football teams report back for, training camp the first week of August. Rosters for the most part are set, obviously, the way that they change the dates with the portal. So I don't know how you would turn that around, especially for the football season, but even the basketball season, that would be a quick turnaround. So we shall see, but my guess is the guys who are out of eligibility, like a William Kyle, are going to still be out of eligibility.
Yeah, I think it'll be a next year thing because it would be very difficult to get that going.
Yeah. But I've seen that out there, that there's some speculation that teams have been slow to sign guys to see how that's going to play out first, that they don't want to fill up their roster just in case they can get some guys back from last year. And that's not necessarily an issue with Syracuse. I'm just saying that teams at large, Syracuse has 5 spots left to fill, or 4 or 5 spots that they can scholarships that they can hand out. So it's not like they're already full, but there's been some speculation around the country that other schools have been kind of slow to pull the trigger on transfer portal guys to see how this plays out. But yeah, I would be surprised if it goes into effect for next year.
Yeah, and I wouldn't worry too much about them getting players from non-Power 4 schools. They know what they're doing, and they'll make it work. It's not making Syracuse a mid-major, and I see people saying we've been a mid-major already. No, they haven't. So
we wait.
Yeah,
we wait for
a lot of schools were in on Tobias.
Yeah, correct.
That's what you look at when you look at year 2 of Red Autry, you had one kid that people were really in on, and they got him early, and he was from a Power 4. The rest of the kids, they weren't really like, nobody was clamoring for them, but they're getting kids that other people, Doty, people wanted.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much of it's out there. I mean, my understanding is that there was a well-known blue blood program that really wanted him. He was always coming here, but there was interest. There was interest from other schools. And so, we wait on what the rest of this roster looks like, but they bring back Kyan and Sadiq, and I think everybody kind of pushes those two guys aside. If they hit the market, like if Kyan and Sadiq were out in the transfer market right now, they would be getting looks from major programs as well. And Doty certainly falls in that category. Tobias falls in that category. So the notion that this is a mid-major roster is not accurate.
Yeah, and the reason, and we heard rumors of Sadiq getting offers from big schools.
Yeah, of course he would. Of course he would. A former, top 30, top 40 guy. I mean, Kyan's in that boat as well. Again, it's Donnie Freeman hits the transfer portal, and Kentucky and UConn fans are both drooling over what could be if this guy commits to their place. So I think sometimes we take the returning players for granted in terms of when you're looking at the roster construction. I think they kind of get pushed to the side, and Kyan and Sadiq were always coming back, but those are pieces that if they were out there in the free agent world, they'd be being looked at by major programs.
Yeah, so I think everything's going to be okay. I don't think this is Lucas Taylor and Jaquan Carlos.
Correct.
Yeah, all right. I think you could sleep well knowing that.
I agree with you on that. All right, that was our opening drive brought to you by Burdick BMW of Cicero and Burdick Toyota. We've got Kevin Copp coming up at 12:30. He's the play-by-play man for Temple basketball, and he will fill us in on everything we need to know about Aiden Tobiasen. But phone lines are open if you want to check in now at 315-437-7644. Back after this on ESPN Radio.
We have many choices when it comes to healthcare.
How's everybody doing today? Yesterday got me really mad. This show got me mad yesterday.
About what?
Like I had to go take a walk after. About what? It was just like I wasn't saying anything negative or positive. I was just saying nobody knows, and everybody was acting like I was being super negative, and it was no, it was just like none of my like, and then somebody called into Tim's show and said I was being too negative. Why am I a clown?
Nice haircut. We have very similar.
You never had a bad day at work, Big Poppy, where you had to just take a break and breathe for a second? Yeah, Q
Nice.
Sports Nor got laid last night. Steve, here, give it up. Yeah, Showbro Mike caught a trout today. Yeah, I eat every day at work. What was his name, Noah? I get it. Wife got a big promotion. You're killing it today, Showbro Michael. Supercat took today off. Oh, I wish I could have done that. You drop breakfast sushi? What the fuck is breakfast sushi? Is it leftovers? The hell is breakfast sushi? I love sushi. I've never thought about having it for breakfast. I heard of breakfast pizza and breakfast burritos. Oh, bowling ball smoking beef back ribs. Done at 5:30. Steve and I will be there. Why are you guys bringing me into this? Like, what the hell did I do? Why is Noah having sex with my face? Can't I just sit back and watch you guys fight? Showboat Michael's umpiring a JV game tonight. What game? I'll come boo you. Do you and Tim have the same shirt on today?
It's a different color, but it's essentially the same shirt. Yeah.
Tim decided to come into work today. He's very busy getting a haircut. It's okay if you do. I just don't want to know about it. I would do me. Very handsome. You okay, Steve? How's your zit doing?
It's getting better. I'm hoping by Monday it'll be gone.
No, I have a blow-up Jabba. Zitfanti? That's a good nickname.
What?
Zitfanti. If you made wine, would you call it Zinfani if you... No hitter over in the first.
Remix.
I was too busy asking you if you had a wine, would you call it Zinfanti? I'm Every Woman was number 7 on April 17th, 1993. This is not a banger for me, but the chicks dig this song, Steve.
I do like Whitney.
Just let her cook. This was a Shaka Khan song also. Are you every woman, Steve? You can say yes. I'm every woman.
What is wrong with you?
It's okay, Steve. Say it every once in a while. This is a song, if it came in my car, I'd probably blast it.
Yeah?
Yeah, and people be like, is that the guy from ESPN Radio singing I'm Every Woman?
I'm into it.
Matt from Auburn says this song is terrible. It's not terrible. Well, it's because you're a dude. You don't get it. You don't get us women. You're not every woman.
What is wrong with you? All right. We've got Kevin Copp, Temple play-by-play man, coming up here in about 10 minutes to fill us in on Aiden Tobias. Tim posed the question before the show, Paulie, about who we think is going to lead this team in scoring as it stands right now. And again, I mean, there's still more roster spots to be filled, but I feel like we know a bulk of the roster, right, going into next year.
Sibby, I saw that. I saw him dribble.
I could tell the look on your face. I knew that there was going to be a snarky response.
3 minutes of tape has me thinking Sibby.
Sibby.
Yeah, okay. I don't even know if that's how you say his name, but that's him. Mark it down.
Okay, so joking aside, what are you thinking?
I don't know. If I had to go based on what I know of each player and I felt confident, Doty would be my most confident bet.
Yeah, so the three that he threw out there, and I think it's probably one of these three, Tobias and Doty and Cayenne being the three that he mentioned, and I think that's probably right.
I haven't seen Tobias, Tobias and could be, but I haven't seen enough of him to say.
Correct. And, we'll talk with Kevin Copp about that coming up here. Tobias, second on Temple in scoring. He can score the basketball. We know Doty can score it. And, Cayenne, that's his strength, right, is putting the ball in the basket. And it's everything else that he needs to get better at. He's got to get better on defense. He's got to get better with decision-making. He's got to get stronger on both ends of the court, stronger to defend and rebound, and then also offensively stronger, to be able to get to the basket and absorb contact and so on and so forth. But he is able to score the basketball and score it well. So I think Cayenne is certainly in on the discussion as well.
Yeah. He's just got to. I feel like Cayenne has to earn time. Does that make sense to you? Like,
yeah.
I don't think he's guaranteed to get a lot of time, but
I think that
there's a lot of people at that spot.
And you look at what cut into his time this year, and I think what cut into his time this year was the defensive end of the court. And now you bring in a coach.
He was a little loose with the ball, also.
Well, he was. Now you bring in a coach that defensive effort is non-negotiable, right? And we know that about Jerry. I mean, Jerry talked about that when he was here, before he even went to Siena for 2 years, and that's how they were able to win there. So I think you look at Cayenne and, how many minutes is he going to get? What's his role going to be? Is he going to start? I mean, I think a lot of that depends on his buy-in on the defensive end of the court. And to your point, and I think it's a good one, you said he's got to earn time. I think you're spot on with that. He's got to show that he's invested on both ends of the court and that, he's not going to be a liability out there.
Yeah, he's got to show he's invested in the team, too. What
do you mean by that?
I just say it felt like towards the end there was a disconnect.
Like he wasn't a team guy?
Not necessarily like the game he sat at UVA. He didn't come out for warm-ups during halftime.
There was a little pouting going on, you're saying?
Yeah, you just got to be a better teammate.
Okay.
Like I don't know if that was like noticeable for anybody, but he didn't come out and warm up with the team when he was sitting.
Yeah.
So that's why we assumed he was injured. But he wasn't. He was just being set, and he just needs to buy in more.
Yeah.
Like he's not the guy, and he's got to accept that role.
Yeah, and that goes back to the culture too, right? And so you've got a new coaching staff coming in trying to establish that culture. And I do think as it stands right now, like if we're trying to project the starting five.
Like one more thing, he needs to be in the team huddles during timeouts. Everybody that caller said that he was talking to Melo. No, he was just floating.
Yeah.
Like I think his dad would probably have told him to get into the huddle. He just needs to get in the huddle and be about the team.
I think that's a fair assessment. I do. And I think that by and large, the team as a whole was kind of like that the second half of the year, right? It was once they lost to BC, and again, we keep going back to that, 3-12 the rest of the way. Mm-hmm. Something changed from that game forward. I know that there were some ups and downs prior to that, but they went into a tailspin after that. And it does seem like Cayenne wasn't alone in maybe not being 100% there. And
he's only one of two guys returning, so he's got to do it.
That's great. That's a great point. He's got to be invested. And so, again, you look at what's a potential starting lineup right now with the players that we know. And I think, to that point, Paulie, I'd probably put him as the first guy off the bench at the moment, without having seen these guys play and play together and knowing exactly what Jerry's trying to accomplish. But my guess is that, until further notice, and if he moves into the starting lineup, I think it's what you said. I think he's going to have to earn his way into that starting lineup. I don't think it's a case of, Cayenne and Sadiq are coming back, so you pencil them in as starters.
It also depends a lot on who's playing what position. Like, are they going three guards? Because if they go three guards, who's the point? Is it Dual? Is he going to be the starting point? Are they getting somebody else?
Yeah.
Is it, is somebody moving? Is Doty moving into that? Is Doty going to be the three? Is Cayenne going to be the three? So it all depends on where they've got him.
Yeah, I think Dual, that's his position. If he's not playing point, he's not playing. Right?
I know, but it feels like they have a lot of combo guards. Like you need a backup guard or a starter. And that's why I'm interested to have Kevin Copp on here in a few minutes because we'll ask him about that. But my guess is Tobiason's the backup point guard, if I had to guess. But Dual is definitely a point guard. He's not a shooting guard. He's not a combo guard. He's going to be running the point. And I think my guess is Tobiason would be, the backup. Obviously, you have Ryan Mesh in the mix to add depth at that position. And Doty can handle the ball, but I don't know that you want to pull him out of position. I think you like what he does, on the wing. But again, there's a lot of time between now and November, and a lot of things could change. Yeah. And I'm not completely sold that they're done getting another point guard, a true 5 to come in and be that. You get a couple centers and and one more point guard.
I thought it was telling when I spoke with Ryan Blackwell the other day and I asked him about the roster and he referred to the bigs that we're getting. And then he said, the bigs that we're hoping to get. But, he definitely said plural. So, he made it sound like there was, multiple, forward/centers that they were still after, that they were still hoping to sign. So I think that is obviously the plan right now is to go out and beef up the front court. I think Well, I was going to say you got to feel good about the guard position. I know some don't, but I think that you've got a lot of versatility there. You got the positional size. You've got experience. You've got some scoring there. I think from a guard perspective, they are probably done. They got to beef up the front court here.
Okay. I'm just, yeah. I think they may just need one more big and one more point, but I don't know.
I think it would be nice to have another point guard. I don't know.
But I'm also kind of buying in on the fact that Folafak's going to end up here, but I don't know.
So that would be another front court player.
Yeah.
He'd give you a solid addition at the forward position. You need a center. I'm with you. I would feel better if there was another point guard on the roster, but if they feel good enough about Tobiasen to be able to come in and handle the point when needed, and obviously you've got Mesh there as depth, I don't know that you're going to add another point guard. So we shall see. But they do have a lot of versatility on the roster that we see to this point. We're going to take a time out here. As I mentioned, we're going to have Kevin Copp on the other side. He is the voice of Temple basketball. He'll fill us in on Aiden Tobiasen and what kind of player Syracuse is getting in him. That's next on ESPN Radio.
How's YouTube doing? I think you could see assistant pro AD. I think you could see maybe Sadiq floating to the 3 if they go another forward. I think any of them could play the 3. It's just none of them are a knockdown shooter, as I said yesterday. Where's the beef? Wendy's. SU's so poor, they go to KFC to lick other people's fingers. Is that a good one? It's gotta suck to be one of these mid-major play-by-play guys and give reports on a player that you should have had this year. Hey, I'm gonna give you a scouting report on the player we lost. Another slow skate, Steve. April 17th, 1993. Syracuse University's own Vanessa Williams and Brian McKnight were number 6 with Love Is. Is she in good standing? Like she
with
came,
Syracuse University?
Yeah, she used to come in and she sang the national anthem once.
It's a good question. I don't know the answer to that.
She was a hit machine in the early 90s.
Yes, she was. No doubt. No doubt.
Get her and Belle Biv DeVoe to sing the national anthem. Banger.
Love it. All right, let's go to our guest line. As promised, we bring on Kevin Copp, the voice of Temple basketball, to fill us in on Aiden Tobiasen. And Kevin, we do appreciate the time, and a lot of folks around here excited to have Aiden Tobiasen joining Jerry McNamara's roster at Syracuse. How would you describe his game? If you had to give us a scouting report on Aiden Tobiasen, what would it be?
Sure. Well, I think you guys should be excited. Just a great player, a great kid, great family. He's been a terrific asset for us at Temple for 2 years. And I think the biggest thing that jumps out at you is the leap he made from playing as a true freshman to becoming an everyday starter as a sophomore this past year. I mean, an explosion in scoring to 15 points a game. Just a really capable shooter, capable defender. He'll do all the things you need, and I think was really a great part of the puzzle, one that we're definitely going to miss here at Temple, seeing him move on.
You took my second question right out of my mouth. I mean, you look at his stats from year 1 to year 2. The minutes took a big jump. The point total took a big jump. Stats across the board. In what areas specifically did you see him grow as a player from freshman year to sophomore year?
Yeah, well, I think going back to even from the start of his freshman year when he got here to Temple to where he ended his freshman year was already a pretty big leap. I mean, he was late in that recruiting class. Not to say that he was, totally unheralded, but he kind of came in a little bit under the radar with that, 24-25 recruiting class that Temple had, and was not a starter, was kind of a bottom of the rotation guy, and slowly but surely as a true freshman, worked his way in. And I think he really made his name early on defensively. We had a game here at Temple against Villanova, obviously city rivalry, big game, Villanova being one of the big programs in the city here, and really came off the bench, gave Temple a bunch of points, but I thought really made a name for himself defensively, and that slowly led to more minutes, more starting opportunities, and by the end of that first year, all of a sudden he's an all-rookie conference player here in the American, and then, to take that from year 1 to year 2, I think really just developed into a terrific shooter. Still has that defensive intensity, and that was kind of his early calling card, but, married that with some really capable shooting, both from the field. I mean, 48% from the field, 34% from three, just really developed into an offensive weapon, and that allowed him to open up his scoring on a team that, was really guard heavy with a lot of veteran guards in here. He made a name for himself as a sophomore.
Yeah, and you look at his numbers as a freshman. I know that he had less attempts and less minutes, but 41.2% from 3-point range as a freshman. As you said, he shot the ball pretty well last year as well. And I guess that give us an idea what kind of shooter is he? I mean, from if he's playing the shooting guard position, you're going to need him to be about that 34-35% from three. You feel like he can come here, and even if he's high up on the scouting report for opposing teams, you feel like he'll be able to fit the bill from a shooting perspective?
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, that's obviously the question with a lot of these guys that, we've seen how the transfer portal works. And obviously, he's in a position where he wants to challenge himself and take his game up a level, which, you're going to be getting some top flight defensive competition when you're playing at Syracuse. So, I mean, I think that's the big question, is to see how it translates. But, I think there are teams at the top of the American Conference, and, it's known for being a pretty physical league, and they've got some guys that can that can defend you tough here when you look at the top programs in the league. I mean, Memphis year in, year out, down here this past year, but the Florida Atlantics and the Wichita States of the world, and South Florida, the team that made it to the NCAA tournament this year. I think the top half of this league is very tough defensively, and I think he showed that he's capable of getting an open shot and connecting at a high level when he's in rhythm and has the ability to do so.
Aiden Tobiasen did a recent interview within the last week with another member of the local media here, Mike Waters from Syracuse.com, good friend of our program, and he told him that he feels comfortable playing 1 through 3, and that's been a popular question on our show, Kevin, about whether or not he could play the point, how comfortable he is playing the point. Can you speak to that at all? How much did he handle the point guard position last year, and do you think that he'll be able to do so again at a Power 4 level?
Not a ton, to be perfectly honest with you. And that's not to say he can't. I'm sure that he can. And again, he's got, terrific talent. And I think he's the kind of guy that's going to come in, work extremely hard. And if he's needed in that type of role, there's no doubt in my mind that, that he can put in the effort to develop it. Temple this past year in 25-26 out of the transfer portal went really heavy on some veteran guards. They brought in Jordan Mason out of the University of Illinois Chicago, who was basically the everyday point guard for this team, and Darian Ford, another veteran, true senior point guard or true senior guard who came in out of Arkansas State, would play the point in those moments when Jordan was off the floor. So it just wasn't something he was asked to do a whole lot of in the way that Temple was set up. We were a 4-guard team with only 1 forward, so very guard heavy, and they had 2 veterans that kind of split those ball handling duties. So not to say it never happened, it just wasn't something that he was asked a whole lot of, but I think that if that's in the cards, that's certainly a skill that he can develop.
Now, when he entered the transfer portal, there was a report out that he was going to test the NBA waters as well and get some feedback and find out what scouts felt like he needed to work on. I'll ask you that question. What do you feel like he needs to work on to kind of take his game to the next level?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be, I think he needs to get back to what he did as a freshman, really making a name for himself defensively, right? You can't be a one-way player, not to say that he was in any way, shape, or form this year. I think he gave great effort on both sides of the ball. But, I think the chance to kind of see if his game is going to translate, taking it up a level into a power conference where you're going to get tested night in and night out against some really talented scorers. I want to see how his defensive game is going to translate. I think he can make shots. I really have no worries on that front about that part of his game translating. And obviously interesting to see in a transition year for Syracuse what the offense is going to look like and what those opportunities will look like. But I want to see how he can handle his own defensively coming up to a power conference level. And I think he's going to be a great addition. I really do.
It looks like Jerry McNamara is targeting a certain profile of player. positional size, guys that buy in on the defensive end, as you've been talking about, guys who have high motors. Along those lines, do you have, is there a game that speaks to that for Aiden Tobiasen? Is there an anecdote that you have of, kind of his buy-in defensively or the high motor with which he plays this, his competitiveness? Anything come to mind for you along those lines?
Well, I mentioned that Villanova game as a freshman. That was kind of like the wow for us. Again, just a guy that wasn't terribly high on a lot of lists, and of the true freshmen, he was not playing the most. And, saw him out there in a big game environment. It was a game that Temple lost, but we were playing in an NBA arena. We were at the Wells Fargo Center. It was a Big Five, game. So, you just huge spotlight, and to see a true freshman step in that way and really look comfortable and beyond his years was kind of the first wow. One of the games from this past year that really jumped out at me, a game where Temple was on the road against Florida Atlantic. It was prime time, nationally televised game, so a big stage for us in our conference, and Temple's down something like double digits. I want to say 12 or 13 points early in that second half. FAU goes on a big run, and the usual scorers for Temple, obviously Aiden's one of them. The other guys that are typically counted on to score game in and game out, it's just not clicking offensively. And he had a stretch leading a comeback in that game where I believe I have it right that he scored 12 points from the field in a row. A variety of knocking down some mid-range shots, some threes, and getting those opportunities and really taking over as kind of the primary option for Temple. He was our number 2 scorer this year. Darian Ford, who transferred in as a senior, was the team's leading scorer and probably the steadiest scorer on the team. But Aiden just had one of those halves, one of those nights where you could really feel him putting the team on his back and leading them back into that game. Did take the lead in the final minute of regulation, didn't end up hanging on to win that one on the road. But that was the kind of stretch where you say, okay, he can carry a team if the moment calls for it, not just be a complimentary player. And again, I've been impressed by him both on and off the court. He's an extremely likable guy, and I think has given everything to this program the last 2 years. I think has represented Temple extremely well. So just high character on and off the court.
How is Temple affected by NIL, and losing players? I'm old. I grew up. Temple was a staple in the tournament in the 80s and 90s. Like, it was every year they were in. Even in the 2000s, they had a pretty good stretch of 6-7 runs in years in a row of making the tournament. How has it affected him? And how are the fans reacting to losing players like this to Syracuse after just 2 years?
Yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky. I mean, I won't get into all the ins and I don't even know all the ins and outs and the mechanics of how it all goes. I know that Aiden is a guy that, all things being equal, Temple would love to have back. There's no doubt about that. He's done everything, and developed within this program for the last 2 years. I think it's challenging. I mean, a lot of schools in our position in this mid-major, spot find themselves in the same position, and it's tough from a roster management standpoint, for sure. I mean, you go from 24 to 25, 24-25 into last year, into 25-26. Temple lost a lot to the portal, and yet they brought back 2 starters, Aiden being one of them, who was a starter by the end of the year. And that actually, I think, one of only 3 or 4 teams in the entire American Conference that brought back 2 starters. So, I mean, while we are kind of feeling like we get depleted year in and year out by, guys going into the portal and taking those opportunities where they present themselves, I mean, it's across the league, it's across the country. It's nothing that is, I think, particularly unique to Temple. I think it's really hard at our level of basketball right now to retain guys. And I mean, I think getting Aiden from year 1 to year 2, you could see the development he made within the program and how much that can be a benefit. And I think that's the message that our staff is trying to sell is, hey, look at this trajectory. When you do spend more than a year here and can develop yourself within this program, you're capable of doing some pretty cool things.
Yeah, very well said, Kevin. As we wrap this up here, anything else we didn't touch on? Anything else SU fans need to know about Aiden Tobiasen?
No, I think, hopefully you've gotten a good picture of, again, what he's like on the court. I think off the court he is, tremendously mature. I think he's been that way since he came in, has always been, a joy for us to deal with, not to get too inside baseball with you on the media side, but just great person to talk to, whether it's courtside after the game or pregame during media availability during the week. He's just always a very likable, personable player, and we wish him the best. We really do. It's bittersweet to see him moving on, but hey, if we can get a home and home out of it, maybe you guys set up a trip down here and come down to the Liacouras Center for a homecoming. We can call it even.
I love it. Kevin, great stuff. Great insight. We appreciate you coming on today. Thanks so much for the information. We appreciate it. Hopefully you have a great weekend.
Thank you so much. You too. Best of luck.
All right. Kevin Copp, the voice of Temple basketball. And with that, we'll take a timeout. 315-437-7644. Back after this on ESPN Radio. What are my plans for the weekend? I don't really have any at the moment, which is nice.
Zit popping?
That's funny.
It looks like you already did it and just made it worse. You need to just stay in for the weekend with a hot compress.
Hot compress in my nose.
Noxzema.
It's getting better. It is. It's still red, but it's improving.
Yeah, it looks a lot better. I used to love that show, Dr. Pimple Popper. I love those videos. Looks like you already poked it with a hot needle.
He is. Yeah, I should probably tell him to text me when he's here so you can let him in. Okay.
Are you going to face the wall so that guy's not looking directly at your zit when he talks to you?
Why you got to make me feel uncomfortable? Oh, okay.
For all you guys that make fun of me, I'm going on a follow-up with the girl from the awful restaurant experience.
Let's go.
Tonight.
Let's go. Where are you going?
Don't know yet. Maybe Chez Palais.
Fancy.
To the old, where the magic happens. No, we're not going to that one. I'm still bankrupt. 30 seconds.
It's up to you guys.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah? Okay.
People want us to get your Zit sponsored. Zit tracker.
You want to switch headphones,
Oh, give the ghetto phones that I bought you for Christmas. What up? Look at that thing.
How are you? Yeah, I love it. Yeah, we got our. You want to do it now or you want to wait 10 minutes? It's up to you. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Uh-oh. I don't even know what the song is. Oh, this is a good one. Steve's going to like this one.
I do like this one.
Jade.
Yep. It's right up my alley.
Don't Walk Away. Was number 5 on this day in 1993. I may have been working with the gentleman who just walked into the studio in 1993. Yeah.
Possibility.
Before we get to our guest, let's check in on the market. We got Mike from Lee Baldwin and Company. Mike, what's going on? How's the market doing today?
Guys, another big day. The Dow's up about 1,100 points. S&P's up 105. That's 13 straight up days for the NASDAQ, up another 1.7% as well. So all three major averages furling with all-time highs, and the rally continues. We've got plenty of diamonds out there, but we're going to go with the travel stocks. Oil's down about 12% today, and that's what's helped the market. Some good news over in Iran. So we're seeing big moves in airlines, cruise ships, all kinds of travel stocks. Our dog, we are going to go with Netflix. Netflix reported earnings last night. They're a little disappointing. Stock's trading down about 10%, but it had a nice bounce in the last 6 weeks off its lows in the high 70s. So overall, a great day. Good way to finish out the week, and I hope you guys have a good weekend.
Yeah, Mike, I've added a portion to the segment where I find random stores that we used to go to in the mall and see if they have stocks. Aunt Annie's. Aunt Annie's. Has a J&J Snack Food Corp, JJSF. So if you'd like to buy into Aunt Annie's, you can hit that up.
Yeah, all right. It sounds like we got to be bullish on it.
Yeah, anything in a mall, those are very hot right now. Yeah, they're hot. Malls are hot right now.
Can't go wrong. Not great for the waistline, but it certainly tastes good going down.
Yeah. That's true. Mike, thank you for the good news, and have a great weekend.
Thanks, you too, guys.
All right, all the diamonds, none of the dogs. Be sure to visit LeeBaldwin.com.
So you're saying Spencer's, you can buy Spencer's. You can't buy Orange Julius, and you can buy Aunt Annie's.
There you go. Thank you. For how long are you going to do this for?
Until I run out of mall stores.
Orange Julius is Dairy Queen.
Yeah, it's Dairy Queen, yes.
There you go. See, Ray knows these things. I didn't know the other day. I just kind of shrugged my shoulders. If you happen to be watching us at QSportsTalk.com, you see that we've got our next guest here live and in studio, Ray Manessa, Chief Marketing Officer for the United Way, to tell us about a big charity event going on tonight over at Henniger High School. It's always great to see you, Ray.
Great to see you.
How are things?
Very good. Very good. So tonight is the Bravest versus Finest basketball game. You may remember we brought this back last year. Game turned out to be a thrilling matchup. We had, at one point, Fire was down by 25 points, come out in the second half, and they came charging back.
They were on fire in the second half.
They were on fire. They're in fuego. And they ended up winning the game. It was a nail biter, came down to free throws. So it was a great game. And really, I mean, the reason why is United Way here is because this is a way for the city to support the United Way campaign. They said, we want to bring this game back. It was on hiatus for 5 years, and we want to team up and do something that's going to be fun for the community, an opportunity for us to come out and support fire and police, and the ticket sales will benefit United Way. And that's just been it's been a great relationship. We're in our second year with this, and we hope to keep doing it every year.
You said it was a 5-year hiatus. If you do the math, was it related to COVID? Did it kind of go away because of COVID?
No one could exactly put their finger on it. It was, maybe we didn't plan it. And at some point I've heard, we just used to have this game in the gym and basically we just played each other. We didn't have fans coming out. We didn't have the, spectacle we're trying to turn this into. So
now it's a big event.
It is. We've got, you got Otto coming in. So
love Otto.
Otto's great for the kids. Tully the Turtle. Got Who Wants Smoke Barbecue is going to be there doing concessions. And if you've had that awesome barbecue, we've got last year, if you look at the flyer, you've got Coach Brown was there with a number of the football players. It was right up to the end of the school year, Memorial Day weekend, so we didn't have as many. But we've got quite a few players, coaches, SU athletes are going to be coming by as well, just to come out and support and say, we're part of this community.
I was going to ask you about that, the reception last year. So you said you brought it back after a 5-year hiatus. What was the reception like from the community last year?
Being a first-year event, we didn't know exactly what we were going to hit. It's a $10 ticket, 5 and under is free. Last year was about 250, almost 300 people that showed up, and we didn't have a long time to plan. This year, we were still not exactly sure if we were going to do it again this year, but we did get that commitment, and we've got tickets are moving faster than they did last year. It's, Syracuse, you guys know the market. People walk up. They don't want to buy their tickets in advance. So $10 at the door, you can pay credit card, Venmo, PayPal, cash, anything you want.
In terms of the basketball that you're going to see, I would imagine that, as you said, these guys used to play each other just like in an open gym setting because they wanted to play each other, and I would imagine that they're quite competitive, right? Fire against police. Did you see was there intensity last year? Did you see the competitive nature kind of come out last year?
I made me wonder who's going to step in if the police have a problem. So there is intensity.
Yeah,
this is a real matchup. There are real. It was sort of like the end of Rocky. There's going to be a rematch.
Yeah.
Never again. There's a rematch. Yeah. They knew this was happening as soon as that game ended. They're like, no, we're doing this. We're doing it again. We want to come back. And you could see it. At the press conference, you can see it. It's they're competitive people. This is men and women that are very athletic and want to win, and no one's coming out just to kind of have a scrimmage here. So.
For those who don't know what the United Way does, and I can't imagine you live in this community and don't know about the United Way, but can you fill everybody in on all that you do in this community day in and day out?
We'll say it's the big picture is trying to fund the greatest needs in our community. So it's supporting nonprofits, supporting efforts that around literacy, education, food, housing insecurity, all these different nonprofits who benefit from when you make a donation to United Way, that donation's passed on to them. but it's also in the support that we do of programs that we run. Things like Book Buddies, which is in the Syracuse City Schools, helping one-on-one with tutoring for children, and that's 500 volunteers. You know, a big arm of this is the volunteer effort that United Way has. Volunteer CNY is any need in this community. If you're a nonprofit right now or an organization and said, we need some volunteers, we need some help, put it up on Volunteer CNY. It's a way to connect, you know, and that's just the same as the Day of Caring, which is our event where you have almost 1,500 volunteers coming up on August 6th that are going to be at 100 different projects. So it's navigating all of those pieces and trying to do the most good we can to serve the most people in Central New York.
You just mentioned, you try to put that money towards the biggest needs. What are the biggest needs right now in this community that you see?
I mean, if you look at what we're up against, it's housing is definitely an issue. Housing, food, the food bank is seeing record numbers. You know, it's a lot of the ways that inflation has affected people in their daily lives. It's going to continue to affect, you know, that's where the need is. Thankfully, we do have a lot of programs out there that are making that are trying to serve those needs. So it's definitely the daily life for a lot of people is there is a struggle.
I asked you about the reception from the community last year. I guess, can you speak to the support that you're getting from, as you mentioned, Syracuse athletes and Syracuse coaches and local businesses, and not just the support from the average fan who, you know, the people who came out last year, but the support you're seeing from the community at large?
You know, if you ask someone for help in Central New York, from a business side, from an individual, they say yes. You know, I think this is one of those things that this community is the right size to be able to walk in and say, here's what I need. And somebody says, I'll do whatever I can. And we've got so many great businesses in this town who do that. I mean, whether it's walking in and saying, can I hang up a poster for Bravest versus Finest? Or can you donate an item for an auction? Or can you donate something to help out with this need? People in Syracuse do stand up and say, we want to do that. And United Way is one of the ways, but, you know, largely it's just what can we do to get more people involved, and how can we, I'd say the volunteer effort is always answered by people, and that's a huge thing. You
brought the trophy with you. That is some trophy. That
yes.
This goes to the winner. They get to keep it for a year, I assume, or how does that work?
It was brought. So Fire kept it.
Yeah.
I don't know where it was. I did ask. I said, "There's not a Stanley Cup feature on here.
You can't drink out of it."
Nothing was consumed out of this trophy. And it lives with them up until, so this year was up until the press conference announcing the event. They brought it back, and I said, I have to keep this now.
Yeah.
And I've kept it with me, and it's fun to.
No white gloves though.
It's a sturdy trophy.
Yeah.
It's going to hold up.
I love it. It's I love this whole idea, and it's a great thing for the community. It's a great way to raise money, and I'm sure that those taking part from fire and police tonight are very much looking forward to this. As you said, they were counting down the days from the moment the last game ended, right?
Yes, it's going to be a spirited game, and a lot of fun, and it's great for the kids. You know, getting fire hats and being able to run around and meet Otto, and last year my son was shooting baskets with Coach Brown, so I'm like,
that's awesome.
It's a great community builder and a great way to just go out and have some fun and support our fire and police and say, we're here for you.
7 o'clock, Henniger High School.
6:30 tip-off.
Or 6:30 tip-off, Henniger High School.
5:30 open,
Gotcha.
6:30 tip-off. Bring in another $25. You can have a T-shirt made and pick your red or your blue if you want to take a stand on where that is. The mayor has a special T-shirt we had made, which is half red and half blue, and we deliver that to her because she's not going to take a stand.
6:30 tip-off, Henniger High School. Parking is free. We should point that out as well. Go
so
and
be
support.
there at 5:30 and have fun.
That's right. Go at 5:30, and you've got fire, you've got rescue, and police, food, and you can support the United Way all at the same time.
That's it.
Sounds like a great night. All right, Ray, thank you for coming on. Anything else that we didn't get to you want to mention?
Just want to say thank you for having me.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming down here. We appreciate you fitting us in on a busy day. Ray Manessa, everybody. With that, we'll take a timeout. Hour number 2 starts next on ESPN Radio.
How to make a haiku.
Thank you. If you've got anybody that you think would be interested, I can give you some tickets. We'd be happy to have anybody.
We can give some away.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
Give it away.
How many do you want?
2 pair. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
We'll talk about raising the green at some point.
Yes.
Bill is like.
I watched a video of people where they made fake like lottery things and they sent them out to people saying they had won money, and it was everybody with warrants, and they're dumb enough and they show up like, I'm here to claim my TV.
See you, Ray.
Galaxy so poor, Paulie just grabbed free tickets. Yeah, we're gonna give them away. We got a quick segment here. My aunt was so worried when I told her I was moving downtown. How worried was she?
How worried was she?
She thought I was going to die. Like, you're going to die living down there. I think this is the first time we've had an artist be on twice in the same countdown. How the hell does Galaxy get perfect radio voices for their guests and throw out this daily lineup they have for every day? Ray has radio background. I worked with him in the early 90s. I did not. Gabriel, could you just maybe we do a charity thing and you just shut the hell up for 5 minutes and not take personal shots at people? I have a face for radio. Did you ever hear that joke before?
Yeah.
Steve's really got one for radio right now with that big honking zit on his nose. What if that is what pushed you over the edge to beat me, is me making fun of your zit? Yeah, I slept right through it. Why did somebody write full fact in our... Did he sign? Are you seeing that anywhere? It's just stupid Q Sports Nor, but... Yeah, I call them stupid. Look at me, I'm skinny. Number 4, 1993, Whitney Houston, I Have Nothing.
It's a good year for her. Another slow skate, though.
I Have Nothing going out to our long-distance dedication request of the day. How about Dirk Koenig 1? In the YouTube chat, getting a little shout out today, our long distance dedication request. Steve?
Okay.
She has such a good voice, or had such a good voice.
Yeah.
Big fan of hers.
Me too.
She was very pretty also.
Yes.
Am I allowed to say that?
Yes.
It's National Haiku Day also, Steve. I was just talking to Ray, our last guest. I was almost to the point of tears trying to figure out how to write a haiku when I was like high school age. I still have no concept of it. I can't grasp it.
Ray said he was an English major in college and he hated haiku.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it why you need to learn that. Like teach me how to write a check. That would have been way more important than writing a haiku.
All right.
How to do my taxes.
We're driving into our second hour, brought to you by Burdick BMW of Cicero and Burdick Toyota.
Ray was nice enough to give us 2 pairs of tickets to give away to the charity basketball game tonight. Cops versus the Fire.
That's right. Bravest versus the Finest.
I'm going to sue them for using the Finest because I am the finest. I'm the finest human. Bravest versus the Finest tonight at Henniger, 5:30, 6:30 tip-off. If you would like to go, just call in now, 315-437-7644. We'll give you a pair of tickets. You go check it out.
There you go. And 5 and under free, as he said, and free parking as well.
What if I go and say I have the mentality of a 5-year-old?
I mean, you're Paulie. They'd probably let you in for free.
Don't you know who? Like, if you showed up at a charity game and dropped a "Don't you know who I am"?
Oh, that's funny. Well, Ray could vouch for you. I'm sure he's going to be there.
Let's take a timeout. All right.
Already? That was quick.
We're behind, aren't we?
No,
we're not.
No, we're not behind.
Oh, well, that just ruined my whole idea.
No. I was going to bring up the women's lacrosse game here. I don't know if you had a chance to see it yesterday, but the SU women had won 12 in a row. They go on the road to Boston College, who, BC was 8-6 going into the game. They'd already lost 4 games in conference. Obviously BC's a good team, but they're not as dominant as they've been in the past.
Can't get over that BC hump.
Just going to say, and Syracuse they have trouble with Boston College. They haven't won in Chestnut Hill since 2015. They've now lost 9 in a row against the Eagles, and it was a low-scoring game. BC jumped out 2-0. And Syracuse never pulled even. They were playing behind the entire way. They kept pulling within 1, and BC would score. They'd pull within 1, BC would score. And they ended up losing the game 7-4. 9th straight loss against BC. Now, you could look at it and say, well, this was impossible to sustain. The fact that they'd won so many close games, they won 12 in a row. If you're going to lose a game, you might as well lose it in the regular season before you hit the postseason. I get that. So maybe it can kind of reset them as they go into the postseason. But you're right. They cannot get over that BC hump, and there's in all likelihood they're going to see them again.
Yeah.
Syracuse now the 4 seed for the ACC tournament. Will open up with Virginia in the ACC bracket. And
I always hated that argument that, hey, it's okay. Maybe it's better to lose a game right now. Learn something from it.
Yeah, I mean.
No, I'd like to keep winning.
Yeah, I would like to keep winning too. It's one of those things, though, that the odds tell you that what they were doing was not sustainable. They had won 6 games in the last month by 2 goals or less. Like, sooner or later, you're going to lose a close game. The odds just tell you that, and they did. They lost a close game yesterday. It was 5-4. BC scored the last 2 goals, made it 7-4, and Syracuse was unable to respond. So, again, if you're going to lose one, if you're going to give away one of these close games, have it be in the regular season, and now you go into the part that really matters. And they've got a chance. Like, they are certainly one of a half dozen teams, whatever it is, that could win a national title. I don't think they're at the top of the list, but again, going into the season, we had so many question marks about this team, Paulie. And the fact of the matter is that they've played their way into a top 5 ranking in the country, and they're right there. They've given themselves a chance.
Tried to watch it last night. We were watching it during the Gary Gate show. Tim, myself, and Coach Gate, and then a monsoon blew through Syracuse.
Knocked out
the fourth quarter, and all the TVs went out. So
we
didn't catch the end of it.
That was intense when the weather came through. That was something. That was something.
Yeah, it was fun lugging equipment in that.
I bet.
I do want to take a time out here because my kicker is going to be long and will involve you and Tim.
Will be long. It's a long kicker.
Yeah,
today.
It's going to be.
Is it like a debate? Like
no, it's
going to
be
about?
guess. It's going to be guess the top 10.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to see how you guys do at it.
Okay, like a Family Feud style.
Yeah.
Survey says.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, we look forward to that. We'll take a time out here. We'll bring in Tim on the other side for today's business. And then Sal Maiorana from the Rochester Democrats to talk Yankees and Bills at 1:30. Back after this on ESPN Radio.
And you stole part of his today's business.
Well, we had a segment. The segment was supposed to be the 1 o'clock was supposed to be the guest. So
I was going to just throw to a quick break.
Yeah, but it was like 1:05.
It was 1:08.
Whatever.
You ruined today's business.
We did not ruin it. Thank you.
You ruined your bit.
There was more stuff. And I knew I could talk about the women's lacrosse game.
Don't. All right, you're both really.
You're gonna fire us
yeah,
over
both
that?
fire you. You're both in your polo shirts, your stupid golf shirts. Q Sportsnor says cities used to be a cool places of culture and adventure. Oh, I went on some drunken adventures in downtown Syracuse, that's for sure. Did Dirk Koenig one even thank me for my long distance dedication request? What a trash thing to do. Never again will I give him or her It's not sketchy at night downtown. It's just a bunch of drunk kids.
That's overhyped. You see Maryland got smoked last night?
No.
Women's lacrosse. They revealed the top 10. Like if the tournament started tomorrow and they were number 1, they lost 15-4 to Michigan.
Wow.
On running clock in the second half. So that kind of shows you how crazy this year is.
There is a few panhandlers. It's the same 3 dudes, though, that I run into. I saw one of them walk out of an apartment building downtown, too, so I don't know if he lives there and just comes out. No, the panhandlers were not ex-employees of Galaxy laid off by Ed. Media is a tough business to be in right now. Didn't ESPN just have a bunch more layoffs?
I think so. Yeah.
You're going to like this next one, Steve. Really like
Pretty excited for the long kicker. How many? We need to get into by like 120?
No, we'll just take our time. We'll get through it. It's 10 things. You got to pick. You guys got to guess the order.
You have a guess at 1:30.
So you can wait.
Okay.
When you hear what it is, you'll be like, oh, yeah, they could sit. They can sit through this. This is far more important.
Trying to gauge when I need to ask you for the kicker.
Maybe they'll want to play along. Number 3 on this day, 1993. Nothing but a G thing.
1, 2.
It's a good one. Used to love this song.
I'm gonna fade it out because I can't. I got it yesterday, and I don't remember if I got the clean version.
Not 100%
it says radio version.
Not 100% confident.
Yeah.
Okay, that's probably a good choice.
I got it all done last night. So.
All right, we've got Tim here for today's business. Tim, what do you got for us?
Well, today's business, first off, brought to you by Superior Plus Propane. Let's talk some transfer portal. We haven't been talking enough about that throughout the week. Donnie Freeman is apparently not going to visit UConn after all. Reports are out that he is shifting his attention more towards Alabama or Kentucky. And remember, Kentucky really needs a portal ad. Mark Pope is on the hot seat. We know Kentucky spent very, very big on their roster last year. It seems like Donnie is going to get an SEC bag after all, and it's down to Alabama or Kentucky. Do you guys think it's kind of nice that you don't have to worry about Donnie on UConn? It felt like that may have been the coach that could have maximized his potential the most, Dan Hurley.
I'm not worried about Donnie.
I will say this. He's going to end up playing Syracuse next year because you know damn well that the SEC-ACC Challenge will set up whoever against Syracuse.
Syracuse going to draw
Kentucky or Alabama.
I was thinking Dior Johnson's on a visit to Ole Miss. I was thinking the other day maybe we could see Dior in the Dome after all. Or I guess it will be a road game, but that's also jumping to conclusions. We don't know who that ACC-SEC opponent is yet, but I do think Donnie's going to make a lot of money and have a very good year for a very good college basketball team next year, probably.
Yeah, and I'm rooting for Kentucky because I picked Kentucky in the match game. So
very important.
Yeah, it is. It is important. It's for bragging rights. No, I mean, I think we knew all along that he was going to leave here and he was going to go to a brand name program and he was going to make a lot of money. And, you know, that doesn't mean that, you know, again, if he had been on this roster, I think we would look at him as the most talented player. I do think this is one of those cases where it's going to benefit everybody involved. I think Donnie needs a fresh start. I think we saw what it looked like here for a couple of years. You know, Jerry's trying to build his own thing and kind of start over here and hit the reset button. So I think, you know, he's going to go somewhere and he's going to make a lot of money. It doesn't mean that, you know, that he should have necessarily stayed. I think he's doing the right thing for him, and maybe this might even be the right thing for Syracuse basketball moving forward. That's kind of how I look at it. That I'm not saying he's a bad player. I think we saw what it looked like here for 2 years, though, and it didn't work. And I hope he moves on, and I hope he has success. But I don't know that him coming back, there would have been a ton of pressure on him if he had come back for a third year.
I agree with all of that. There was some chatter originally that maybe Adrian Autry would go after him now that he is the associate head coach at Virginia. I just don't think Virginia had really any starting spots to offer because as it's coming out this week, Virginia is keeping basically everyone from their core group last year that could return. And we've talked a lot about where is Syracuse going to be the ACC preseason bowl. I think Virginia is the favorites right now. They're probably going to be the ACC favorite going into next year. Obviously, you think about Duke and Louisville is making waves.
Based on what Louisville's doing, I think they got to be in the conversation
for sure. Yeah. But I like how Virginia is keeping the core intact. Yeah. I think there's very few teams that are able to do that. Louisville is spending big because they have to replace a lot. Virginia's got a good core from last year, and they were able to convince all of them to come back.
And they were a good team this past year, right? So, you know, you add the fact that you're a good team with retention and continuity and all that. And, you know, Virginia is one of those places that it does seem like culture matters. Like there's some programs that, you know, John Calipari, you know, very famously said, you know, when one freshman class comes through, I go out and I get a new batch the next year. You know, there are some programs that do that and they have success doing that. But there are also other programs that the culture is very important. And, you know, you think of like Villanova, for instance, like they had a tradition of, you know, guys that would stay there for a while and kind of grow old together, and they had success that way. And I think Virginia is one of those programs that culture matters. And so yeah, you combine the fact that you've got some retention and continuity with a team that was already really good, then yeah, I think they're absolutely in the mix for the favorites in the ACC.
Other news, Will Wade and LSU have lost their entire roster from last year and have not signed anyone out of the transfer portal, so people are making jokes about that. Cruz Davis from Hofstra, who had a great game against Syracuse, he is off to Texas Tech, certainly getting a bag there. And I
liked him a lot.
Yeah, I think we all liked him, but he probably is making quite a bit of money for the Red Raiders.
Good to see Texas Tech is becoming a mid-major by signing him.
See what you did there. I will say I'm a little bit worried right now about the women's basketball team. They've only added one player. If we're going to make jokes about Will Wade adding 0 players, I don't know what to make of Dominique Darius because I guess I'm a little fearful that this 5-for-5 maybe puts that in limbo. Like, we haven't heard anything about Nate King's or Dominique Darius's waivers, and maybe they have made a resolution on them and we just haven't heard about it, but you wonder if the NCAA is not really prioritizing the waivers right now and just thinking we got to figure out the 5-for-5 first.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it could be. And we talked about that a little bit earlier in the show, Tim, about the fact that, maybe some teams have been a little bit slow to add because they think there's a potential they could get some players back that, we in the public don't think are, have any eligibility left. So it does feel like, a lot of, those types of players are in limbo right now, waiting to find out if they're going to get the waiver or if they're just going to get the 5th year. Although with Nate Kings, though, that rule would not affect him, correct? The 5-for-5 would not affect him because he's already been out of school for 5 years, out of high school.
Right, but wouldn't that his time would have elapsed then? Correct.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think Nate Kings would still need a waiver in order to compete.
Sure.
Dominique Darius, I think, would fall under the 5-for-5, right? If they granted it.
No, I think both of them. I think Dominique Darius she's going to be 25.
Okay,
so I think
same situation.
Yeah, I think they're in a similar situation of if the 5-for-5 passed, they would not have a chance of coming back.
Okay.
But do you handle those waivers before you have a conclusion on the 5-for-5? If you're going to pass it, you got to pass it like tomorrow or yesterday.
Exactly.
Because how the heck is this going to work is a question I have, and we've discussed a lot. So I don't know. That's just me theorizing. Maybe there's nothing to it. Maybe we'll find out. Maybe the coaching staff already knows about Dominique Darius and or Nate Kings. But certainly I don't think they're planning on Nate Kings coming back. I do think the Syracuse staff all year has felt that Dominique Darius has a strong case because you look at her resume. She has a COVID year. She also only played 6 games one year, so she's kind of just has to prove that 6-game season was a medical redshirt year to get her one more year. And typically, I think you could prove that, even though it sounds crazy and she's going to be 25 or whatever. But now I wonder if maybe this is going to make it tougher that the 5-for-5 is in limbo.
Yeah. Okay. I see. And I didn't realize she had played 5 years. So I didn't know she played that season where she only had the 6 games. I'm looking at her stats right now. So her junior year, technically, she only played 6 games because of injury. So it would be that would be the waiver then to try to get that year back, right? Essentially, that's what the case is.
Yes, yeah, because she had a COVID year, her first year. So I think she's played 4 years, and she's trying to say that one of those 4 years doesn't count because of 6 games.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had to move my screen so Steve doesn't cheat. He likes to cheat.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Good call.
Is it already time for the kicker?
It's kicker time.
Kicker time.
All right.
Okay.
The top 10 salad dressing flavors have been released.
Caesar.
And what do you guys think is the number one selling flavor of salad dressing?
I mean, Caesar jumped to mind.
That is number 2.
I was going to say Italian.
Italian is 3.
Balsamic vinaigrette.
Hold on. Italian is 3.
This is blind ranking.
Yes, it's basically. What did you say? Balsamic vinaigrette is 4.
Ranch?
Yeah, ranch has got to be 1.
Ranch is number 1.
Okay.
You still got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay. Top salad dressings.
Ranch, Caesar, Italian vinaigrette are the top 4.
French or Thousand Island?
French is 6.
Are French and Thousand Island 2 separate ones?
6. French and Thousand Island are close. French and Catalina are the same.
Okay. So
trying to think of what's the term I'm looking for that's kind of like a Santa Fe salad or what's dressing would you put on kind of a Mexican blend?
I always thought that was just like Spanish ranch.
Yeah.
It's not on the list.
Okay.
You got 2 more strikes.
I did not endorse that answer. I think he was just talking his way through it.
Yeah.
You got 2 more strikes.
So is Thousand Island on the list?
Thousand Island is 7th.
Okay.
No, that's 8.
I'm running out, Steve. I got to be honest with you.
I mean, some places offer like a honey mustard.
Honey mustard. is 5th.
5th.
Or
Wow.
7th, sorry.
Okay.
I'm not ready.
What's 5? Can we phone the chat?
No.
Take a lifeline.
Number 5 is easy.
Number 5. Crumbly blue.
Blue cheese, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Crumbly
You
blue.
definitely don't eat that.
I
Steve.
don't, but
I can
my
tell.
dad does. My dad does.
Blue cheese.
So
You
we
got
got
9 and 10.
9 and 10, man. Scraping the
Should
barrel
we know
here.
them, or are they?
I mean, is there like a
one of them?
Is there like a raspberry vinaigrette? Like a no.
That's a good guess, though.
Got one more, miss.
Man,
I like the last one, but I only normally get it when I go to
like when you go to a restaurant.
When I go to a restaurant of a very specific kind.
What does that mean?
Is it like a Asian salad dressing?
Sesame ginger.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Last one.
Are we gonna get this last one?
I don't know. What the hell do I look like?
Have you?
Nostradamus?
I give up.
Have you ordered it before?
No, I've seen it.
You've seen it. What does it
I've
look
had
like?
it.
What color is it?
Clearish, oil based. I'm guessing.
Clearish.
Like a vinaigrette.
It is a vinaigrette.
Is it just a certain flavor of a
Yes,
vinaigrette?
yes.
Yeah, and we did balsamic, right?
Yes, and raspberry.
Yeah, raspberry.
What other flavors of vinaigrette?
It's also a country.
Just tell us.
Greek vinaigrette, typically oregano, garlic.
that
and
was
lemon.
not on the tip of my tongue.
I wouldn't have gotten.
There you go.
Never heard of that.
Top 10 salad
I
dressing.
feel like raspberry vinaigrette should have been on the list, but
That was fun. We should do that for another food topic.
Yeah, there you go. Salad dressings. How many of these would you, Steve? Let's really quickly run through ranch.
No, Caesar. Yes,
Yes?
yes.
That's creamy.
I know it is, but it's
That's
there's like
creamy.
Parmesan cheese. and-
Italian.
Yes,
Vinaigrette.
yes,
Blue cheese.
no,
French.
yes, yes,
Honey mustard. Thousand Island.
no,
Yeah, you are Greek.
no.
What about sesame ginger?
I don't even know what that is.
You've
but-
never gone to like
Those are good salads. Yeah.
Sure.
you know what
I think I would like that. I think I would like that.
It is a creamy kind of sauce, though, so you might not.
Yeah. I love the reaction to ranch.
No,
Yeah, the most
The skin
popular,
crawls.
the most popular dressing since the 1990s. Steve hates.
Sal Maiorana joining us on the other side. We'll talk Yankees. We'll talk Bills next on ESPN Radio.
Lithuanian vinaigrette. Turkey vinaigrette. No, very good guesses.
This promo's been running for like 2 weeks. I think we got to figure out that. I swear I've heard this like 80 times.
The sesame ginger is at Hibachi's, and it's always good. McDonald's sauce, Big Mac sauce is not Thousand Islands. It's a fallacy.
What's your favorite like fast food sauce? Like Chick-fil-A sauce?
I do like Raising Cane's sauce.
Oh, yeah.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, the Chick-fil-A sauce is good.
I
Can't
think
be
Raising
good for you.
Cane's is my favorite.
Where's that from?
Never heard of Raising Cane's?
There's got one about to open.
Yeah.
It's a chicken shop, but it's basically just chicken fingers.
Yeah, it's like
And they have them here?
They're about to open
it's
one.
a
They're
southern
trying-
chain.
There's
Yeah.
one that's coming here.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Across the street.
Chick-fil-A is like that's like their new competitor. Raising Cane's is ready.
Am I saying that right? Maiorana?
Yes, Maiorana. Yep.
Had never heard of Raising Cane's before. Didn't know what that was.
I would say Catalina is my favorite dressing.
I like French or Catalina. Yeah, I do too. I like honey mustard too. Those are my two favorites.
Is that true that Ryan Mensch is red shirting?
I did not see that. And if this 5 for 5 passes, there is no such thing as red shirting anymore. So I don't know. I mean, I don't expect him to play a lot next year. Did Orange Ohana, did he come out and say something publicly? There's going to be no need to redshirt because you're going to get 5 years to compete 5 years. So that's not going to be a thing.
Director of player engagement is dope. I'm gonna text Blackwell that. Hey, congratulations on becoming the dope. I don't like blue cheese. I'm with Steve on that one. It's kind of gross. And it's not I don't hate the taste or the texture. I just know what it is. Just knowing what it is. Just old ass moldy fucking cheese grosses me out. So do I have the coach's number? Yeah, I have all of the coach's numbers. Why wouldn't I? I have to set up interviews with them. I don't text Alan Griffin that often, no. You're not going to like this song going into a guest.
No? What is it?
You're going to hate it. You're going to really hate this. So I'll make it as uncomfortable as possible. The number 2 song, April 17th, 1993, is Silk, Freak Me. This is a great song. I don't care. Not the most appropriate song ever.
Kind of an awkward song to go into a guest with, but I guess
I don't write the Billboard charts, Steve. They write themselves.
Number 2 song is the number 2 song. So
and, this may have been on my mixtape for the ladies in 1992 when I was 20. I was 20 in 1992.
All right, let's go to our guest line and bring on our final guest of the week. We're going to talk Yankees and Bills with Sal Maiorana from the Rochester Democrat. Sal, thanks for coming on. Let's jump right in with the Yankees. Wild series with the Angels that just wrapped up. Both teams won 2 games. We saw a ton of homers. What do you take away from a Yankees perspective from that series?
Yeah. Good afternoon, guys. Well, the main takeaway is that they're not very good.
Yeah.
I'm really I'm just a little bit down on the Yankees. I've been worried about their bullpen in particular. Really, since the start of the season, it was they got off to a great start there with I think it was almost 15 innings of scoreless ball. But this bullpen was put together. It just feels like in a really piecemeal sort of way. And right down to Bednar, the closer, who I don't really trust. He's been pretty good, but he just makes everything so difficult. They've got some big problems, and it was really exposed in this series. Now, that being said, their rotation has been great until this week, and they were awful in this series too, and that includes Max Fried yesterday. I mean, I don't think he was very good yesterday, and he ended up giving up. He was charged with 5 runs, so it was just a bad week of pitching or series of pitching for the Yankees, and that's a problem because their offense is pretty inconsistent. And if they don't pitch great, they're going to have trouble winning games.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the pitching, and you touched on it right there. That when the rotation is healthy, especially, there's a lot to like about this Yankees team. But and as you said, I mean, it was a rough week for the starters as well. But the bullpen seems to be a big concern. How much of that is it's a small sample size and the season just started, or how much of it, do you think these bullpen concerns are going to continue throughout the season?
Oh, I think they're going to continue. Yeah, it's not a small sample size for me. Like I said, in the offseason, I was worried about what this bullpen was going to look like. It's just tough to trust guys like Doval, Fernando Cruz. They have command problems. They put too many guys on base with the walk. Really, the best guy they have in that bullpen, and people will think I'm nuts, but I'm not, is Tim Hill. Tim Hill's the one guy who Boone will call him into a game, and he comes in and gets the job done. And unfortunately, Boone doesn't stick with him for longer than, one inning ever. Like the other night, he threw 8 pitches, he had an easy inning, Boone pulls him out, and everything goes to hell after that. I mean, I just don't understand it. So I think, like I said, even right down to Bednar, who is a pretty inconsistent type of closer, I think it was a problem going into the season, and it's only exacerbated right now. I mean, Ryan Yarbrough is your long guy. He's so hittable. You and I could probably get a hit off that guy at this point. So, yeah, it's going to be something that Cashman, which he does every trade deadline, he tries to improve the bullpen. And based on what he did last season, you got to look at it and say he kind of failed, right? He brought Bednar in, who did do a good job at the end of last year, but Doval and Bird especially were disasters. And Cruz is one of those guys that when he's on, he's unhittable, but he's just not on real often. And too often, he's inconsistent and can't find the plate. And if that splitter's not working, he's a problem.
Yeah. Garrett Cole starts his rehab assignment tonight down in AA. Kind of a two-part question with Cole. What are you hoping to see out of him tonight? And I guess more importantly, what's a realistic timeline for him to be back in pinstripes?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's his first start for how long it's been. So just looking for some velocity there. It's not going to be 100 miles an hour, obviously. But if he can at least show the velocity and show that he's getting it back, that'll be fine for his first start. And then in the next however many he's going to take, 3 or 4 down there to get ready, then you start honing in on the command. So if he can get that together in the next month that he's, wherever he's going to be, Somerset or Scranton, that'll be good. I don't expect him to come back and be Garrett Cole right away. I mean, it'd be nice, but I don't think that's going to happen. So just slowly work up to it in these rehab starts, get back to the Bronx, and, be good. You don't have to be Garrett Cole great. Just be good and settle the back of this rotation, because really after Max Fried and Cam Schlittler, you're not really sure what you're going to get out of those next 3 guys. So Cole would be, and of course Carlos Rodon, who probably will be back before Cole, I think. You get those 2 guys in, and you're going to feel a whole lot better about that rotation.
Aaron Boone keeps getting asked about Ben Rice. What do you make of his usage so far? Would you like to see him in the lineup more?
Yeah, look, I understand what he's doing with the lefty situation. They re-signed Paul Goldschmidt for this reason. I mean, I wasn't really on board with signing Goldschmidt. I don't know what they were, for as often as he's going to play, because typically you see right-handed starters 75% of the time. So it wasn't like he was going to get a whole lot of playing time. I'm not quite sure why they did it and why they just don't go with Rice full time. He's proving that he can hit left-handers, and you're only going to get better by facing left-handers. And that's the bat that I think you have to have in the lineup every day. So, we'll see where it goes, but I do understand why against certain lefties, you've got Goldschmidt on the team. That's what you're going to do is use him in those situations. And he did get, Rice into some pinch hitting situations, later on in those games that he didn't start. So he's a key guy on the team. And I think right now his usage is about what I would have expected.
Mike Trout, 5 homers in the series. He's the first visiting player ever to hit a homer in 4 straight games at Yankee Stadium in 4 straight days. Judge, after the game, called him the best hitter of all time. Just as a baseball fan, Sal, when you hear Mike Trout, what do you make of his legacy? You know, he hasn't played on great teams, but I mean his numbers are also hard to deny.
Oh, yeah, the numbers, the first 10 years of his career were just unbelievable, right? I mean, just an incredible start to a career. He's already a Hall of Famer if he does nothing, beyond those 10 years, really. It's just a shame that he's been hurt for so much of the last, say, 4 or 5 years. But hey, look, I'm glad he's out of the Bronx this week.
Yeah, right.
So I'm perfectly happy to see the rejuvenation of Mike Trout. One of the greatest players of all time, and I hope he has a great season from here on out. But I got to admit, I was pretty pissed off watching him for 4 games, completely, decimating the Yankees pitching staff.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. One more baseball question before we move on to the Bills. Just the ABS. I guess, what are your thoughts on it so far? And, how have you noticed the Yankees approaching these challenges and maybe the strategy that's involved in that?
Yeah, I love it. I don't ever want them to go to a full ABS, but I love the challenge system. And you guys have, the Syracuse Mets there. Yep. We have the Red Wings. So I've seen a ton of games in the minor leagues here that already had the challenge system. I think it works great. It's designed to get the really bad calls out of the game, and it works. And it's also proving to me, guys, that these umpires take a lot of crap from fans and managers, but they're pretty good at their job. When you look at the charts that Baseball Savant puts up and how close these pitches are that get challenged every night, they do a pretty good job. So the ABS is designed perfectly to get the bad calls out of the game, and that's what it's doing. As far as the Yankees, I'll tell you what, there's about 5 or 6 Yankee hitters who, if I was Boone, I would say you are not allowed to challenge because they've been terrible. Jazz Chisholm he's just so bad at it. He's emotional. You can't let emotion get into it. I think Caballero is a little bit emotional with it. Judge, for some reason, hasn't used it at all, and he's the one that it probably would impact the most. So I think they've done a poor job as hitters with the Yankees using the challenge system. I think Wells, for the most part, has been pretty good. And I do believe that top to bottom, it's going to be the catchers for every team who are going to be the best at this because they have the best view of what the pitch actually, or where the pitch actually is.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's a really good point. All right, let's move on to the NFL now. Draft starts on Thursday, runs Thursday through Saturday. From a Bills perspective, they picked 26th overall. Who are some guys that you think the Bills might have their eyes on? And I know, obviously it depends on who's there and whatnot, but who do you think the team's targeting at 26?
Yeah, this is one of these years for the Bills where they could go literally 5 or 6 different positions, and I don't think anybody would argue with what they're going to do at that spot. In the previous years, receiver in 24 was the obvious need. They picked Keon Coleman. Last year, cornerback. It was no doubt about it. It was cornerback, and they picked Max Hairston. This season, they could pick a receiver, an edge rusher, a linebacker. You could even pick a safety, maybe even a defensive tackle. They could literally go in 5 or 6 directions. So it's hard to pinpoint what they're thinking, especially with Joe Brady as the head coach, Jim Leonard as the defensive coordinator. We don't have a real read on what, we knew kind of what Sean McDermott wanted and what Bean was trying to do in cahoots with McDermott. It's really tough right now to pinpoint it. If I had to guess, I would say they're probably going to take an edge rusher. They need to find a guy who's got some speed off the edge. They've got some decent pass rushers like Greg Rousseau, but they have nobody that's an explosive, quick guy that can get to the quarterback immediately. And I think that's what they would lean towards. But I certainly wouldn't argue if they picked a defensive tackle because they're so bad against the run last season. And look, if a wide receiver is there that they just can't live without, who's going to argue about that? Nobody.
Yeah.
Give Josh Allen one more weapon. I mean, I'm not going to argue that either. So Yeah, I know that sounds like a pretty out there, failed to pinpoint anything answer, but it's the truth. It really is hard to pinpoint what they're thinking.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you about the wide receiver position. Obviously, they made the trade for DJ Moore, and I guess this goes to my next question, which is, overall needs throughout this draft, not just at 26 overall, but what would you like to see them accomplish, I guess, as a whole by the end of business on Saturday?
Yeah, I think the DJ Moore trade really does lessen the need for a first-round pick at receiver. I mean, they could pick somebody later, but they're just. I mean, if you think of DJ Moore as kind of their second-round pick this year, because that's what they gave away to get him, then why would you go back in the first round and take a receiver when you've got clear needs on the defense? So I think the Bills absolutely have to come away in this draft with a 3-down linebacker. People think I'm nuts that they could pick a linebacker in the first round. I wouldn't argue at all because they've got some weakness at that position. They've got Terrell Bernard and Dorian Williams are going to be their starters right now, and that's all they have on the team. There's no depth at that position, so they really need to get an every down versatile linebacker. I think adding a true nose tackle would be a really good thing for the Bills to do, again, because their run defense has been so poor. And then, like I said, edge rusher is definitely a need. So there's the three big ones, and they're all on defense as far as I'm concerned.
All right, last one for you, Sal, before we get you out of here. We got to mention the Sabres here. Back in the playoffs for the first time since 2011, hosting the Bruins beginning on Sunday. What do you make of this series, and what do you make of Buffalo's chances to go on a deep run here? They obviously played great, the second half of the season in particular.
Yeah, it's been crazy. No one ever saw this coming, especially in December when they were last place in the conference. So it's been an amazing turnaround for the Sabres. You could see it. I would say I started thinking about it in January. You could tell that, yeah, it was real. It wasn't just a couple weeks of good play, and they're still, middling down in the bottom third of the conference. You could tell in January that they were for real. And, man, they were the best team in the league. From the new year on, they were the best team in the NHL. So I think it is possible that they could make a deep run. But I do believe, I think they'll get past the Bruins. I do. I think they can beat Boston. But if it ends up being like Tampa Bay in the next round, that's going to be a tough series for the Sabres. I mean, they handled them during the regular season, but that's a really good veteran, playoff-hardened team that I think would give Buffalo trouble. Do I think Buffalo could get past them? Sure. But I'm thinking get to the second round. We'll see what happens. And if they get past that, then everything else is gravy, man, because we never even thought they'd even be playing this weekend, let alone, going into the third or even the Stanley Cup final round.
Yeah, it's been a remarkable story, remarkable run by this team. Sal, as always, we appreciate the time. Thanks so much for coming on. Enjoy your weekend.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me. Take care.
All right. And with that, we'll take our final time out here on the show. We'll wrap things up next on ESPN Radio.
People wanted to know if you knew what Freak Me was about, Steve, in the chat. I didn't ask you on air because we had a guest.
Well, and I didn't want to get into it, but I love that.
I know. I bet you're a freak. You like to freak me. Steve was embarrassed to say he liked that song in front of a guest, and it was probably a number one song in America. Q Sports Nerd, do you really think that someone who works at the Democrat is a Democrat just because they work at the Democrat? That's the paper name?
We got to do, don't forget, we got to do overtime pretty quick because I got class today. So if you want to use the restroom now,
Do you close your eyes when you listen to Unbreak My Heart by Tony Braxton?
I like that song. I like Tony Braxton.
I think I do. Unbreak My Heart. I sing that. What about All Cried Out by Lisa and the Cult Jam? Or Allure if you're younger. I'm all cried out over you.
It's not a bad song. Do you hear what I said?
No, and I don't care. I'll pee when I want to pee. I did hear you. This isn't your world, Steve.
No, I was. It was just a recommendation. Just a suggestion.
Has your,
it's like when I asked my 5-year-old, "Do you have to go potty?
Has your
sure?
Zit, has
you
your,
sure?
Has your zit filed its taxes yet?
I deserve that.
You did.
No, Matt, I told him he should go now because we have to tape something right after the show. So I said, instead of going after the show, why don't you go now?
I clench my fist when I'm emotionally singing. I don't know the guy's politics, you dope. He worked at the Democrat. Yeah, you're not everybody's dad. JFC. He's America's dad. Did you name it? Wilbur? Let's name it Wilbur. How's Wilbur doing today? Hopefully Monday Wilbur's gone.
Yeah, I'm hoping so.
I feel bad.
I need it gone by Thursday.
I feel bad for you.
Can you imagine I have to go on national TV with this? It's got to be gone.
Did they put Wilbur in the credits at Channel 9 at the end? All right, let's go to Stephen Wilbur with the sports.
It's funny.
Who's the one?
Fun. It was fun.
Who was that?
Just a couple friends.
Tomorrow cheese. You want to do cheese at top 10 cheeses? I can just do a top 10 food.
So I never deal with this happens during my show. Like this
yeah, what is that?
Has not given me issues. But is that because you use this?
Like, it might be because I've
noticed that when he touches the mouse sometimes, then it makes that go.
Well, I try to read the chats and I bounce between them.
I read the chat on my laptop.
Oh,
so that's probably why.
That's why. Yeah. So it is your fault. You all along you were like, "It's not my fault."
Oh, okay, zip face, moon, crater face,
crater face. Man, that was aggressive.
I just turned into a high schooler. Okay, zit.
That was
top
aggressive.
10 numbers. We can do that. 10. I'm sick of 5-0 running up on the block. Are you, Steve?
You haven't lived.
I still don't know what the hell he says in this song. Will you Google the lyrics to this song?
Sure.
Does he say licky boom boom down? What the hell does he say?
I'm looking for you. Informer. Say daddy me, snow me, I go blame, I lick he boom boom down.
Brilliant lyrics. Let him cook. This was number 1 on April 17th, 1993. A licky boom boom down. This is a great song, though. You don't have to know what they're saying. It'd not be a good song. You know he's huge in the reggae community? Like, huge. I've interviewed him.
You have?
Yeah. He also, I asked him if he made a lot of money touring, and he's from Canada, and he struggled to tour because he had a criminal past, so he couldn't tour the States as much as he would have.
Is that right?
Yeah. He was actually in jail for assault when the song became number 1. He said MC Shan called him.
How about that?
And told him on the phone. A lot of stories out of that.
How about that?
I'm friends with him on Facebook. Snow and Polly.
Isn't that who is that? Akon. He same thing. Didn't he write songs in prison and then?
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway,
you know who's been known to licky boom boom down a show? I don't even know what the hell that means, but Tim Leonard.
Tim, what do you got coming up tonight?
Yeah. That's why I was sitting here in silence.
Your mic was licky boom boom down. Now it's up.
Tonight, reacting to the transfer portal some more. I just should insert like something where I tape myself and we just play that when you ask me this question because that's all we're doing these days is breaking down whatever news comes out in the afternoon, and then we'll talk more about the Syracuse basketball roster and take your phone calls. We had some crazy phone calls last night. A couple people that were saying AO as the center coach is going to finally bring Syracuse a big man again.
They will. It's true. I've been told.
Guy who called Jesse Edwards serviceable. Can you imagine that? I was like, Jesse Edwards developed pretty well, huh?
He played in the NBA, for God's sakes.
He was like, he was serviceable, Tim.
He came a long way.
He did.
He did. When he arrived, yes.
I was arguing with Tom Thomas about it on air. Like, I was like, what do you see in him? Like, everybody thought he was like some offensive wizard when he was a freshman, and dude couldn't get past his own feet.
Yeah, but he certainly improved. But there was no big man coach. But somehow he improved.
Yeah,
Marek was pretty good too.
All right, what year are we doing on Monday?
1982.
Ooh,
10-year-old Paulie.
Okay,
how old were you, Steve?
6.
Yeah, Tim was not even thought of yet.
Yeah, I had just turned 6. All right, we got to go. For Tim, for Paulie, I'm Steve. Enjoy the weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you again on Monday.